Hey, what's up, Eagle Nation? It's your boy Ill Will, and this is the Eagles Raw Report. Tough loss on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but you really can't be too mad at the way they played. They definitely got themselves back in the game. They shot themselves in the foot. They got an interception, punted it, got a fumble recovery, and then a turnover on downs. But they definitely gonna bounce back because if you haven't heard already, Carson Wentz is back. The MVP caliber quarterback is back behind center. And I know the link is going to be rocking on Sunday. If you're not hyped for Carson Wentz, you're not an Eagles fan. And before I go on, I want to take the time out to say thank you to Nick Foles. Nick Foles came in the time of need. He handled himself like a professional. And he led this team to victory week in and week out. He only had 2 losses, one which really didn't count against the Cowboys in Week 17 in the 2017 season prior to us going to the playoffs. And, of course, Sunday that just passed against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His resume speaks for itself, but I would like to say thank you to Nick Foles. Thank you. I'm pretty sure that was his last time starting as quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, barring any injury this year. This Sunday is going to be a real important game. In my eyes, it's a must-win because we cannot go down 1-2 in this division where we have 2 other teams that are also 1-1. The running backs. We're going to start off with the running backs. Corey Clement is most likely going to be the starting back this Sunday because Jay Ajayi is having back spasms. They also promoted Josh Adams to the 53-man roster. Now, Corey Clement, as you know, he's a stud. Corey Clement is a stud, and there's only one issue I have with Corey Clement. In the Atlanta Falcons game and this past Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Corey Clement is not successful with making one man miss. Corey Clement is getting tackled in open field with one man to beat. And those plays can potentially turn into long runs for a touchdown, which is sometimes a spark that we need. I'm almost sure that Deuce Staley is going to get on him about that because that is really important to make one man miss, especially with the agility that he has. I mean, he's not the quickest guy to spin but he seems to be shifty at times. And I know that he's athletic enough to make one man miss. So if he cleans that up, I mean, he's all around great to me. Josh Adams, if you don't know who he is, he was a 2017 Heisman candidate. He played for Notre Dame, 6'2", 225, power back, rushed for over 1,400 yards last year, and he runs a 4.4. He's a big guy. He definitely could pound it. We haven't had somebody of his caliber since LeGarrette Blount. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a lot of touches with him and Corey Clement back there. Smallwood is going to see lesser of a role, especially if Darren Sproles plays. If Darren Sproles plays, you probably won't see Smallwood on the field at all. He actually declined in play. The coaching staff most likely is not pleased with him. That's why they brought Josh Adams up on the roster. But the wideouts, Jordan Matthews is back. Now we kind of got that 2016 feel again. That 2016 feel with when Jordan Matthews was on the team, Carson Wentz was a rookie, Jordan was in slot, and of course Nelson Agholor was on the team, who had a really bad year. But we're gonna try that. We're gonna try that again. This is the reset button of trying that lineup. Jordan Matthews is going to be in a slot where he's pretty successful over his time in Philadelphia, and Nelson Agholor is going to go on the outside. Now he has that confidence, and I'm sure that he's gonna excel. He's gonna take the top off the defense, and honestly, this is probably what needs to happen. While Wallace is out, and then we're gonna see Agholor take over that role. What they've been looking for is right in the palm of their hand the whole time. They've been looking for a speedster, and they've been going, Torrey Smith and Mike Wallace, and I'm pretty sure they were going to keep searching with Gibson and whoever else they're trying to put in that role as a speedster to take the top off the defense. But Aguilar is probably going to be the guy with Jordan back in the lineup. Next week, they're going to bring in Jeremy Maclin. And these guys are not coming in to be the number one guy. They're coming in to be role players. No one is going to sign Jeremy Maclin and say, hey, you're going to be my number one receiver. We already know who the number one receiver is. That's Alshon Jeffrey. But Jordan Matthews, Jeremy Maclin, knowing the system, and they bring something to this team. They have that resume. These guys are studs as role players. They are role player studs. We're not counting on them to be the leading guy out there. You know, they can help move the chains. That's why they brought them in. They're not locker room cancers. They're not potheads and getting suspended for seasons and admitting themselves into alcohol abuse or drug abuse programs. Those are not it. These are great locker room guys who love the city of Philadelphia. And honestly, they didn't want to leave, but we all know what transpired when they were, well, I wouldn't say Jordan Matthews, but Jeremy Maclin. No one wanted to play for Chip Kelly, but no need to get into all of that. Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is due for a monster game. Now, this is the reason why I say he's going to have a monster game. I know I said he was going to have one last week, but that crowd was rocking. The Tampa Bay opening home game, they did what they were supposed to do, even though the State Stadium wasn't filled up. But this is the first 1:00 game of the Philadelphia Eagles season at home. Carson Wentz's return, Jordan Matthews' return. I can almost guarantee it's probably gonna be the loudest it's ever been. Probably louder than the NFC Championship game. I'm putting it up there with that game. But the only thing that concerns me, other than I'm going to get to Zach Ertz in a second, the only thing that concerns me with Carson Wentz returning is if Jason Peters can't go. If Jason Peters can't go, we have to rely on Big V. Now, I said it time and time again. Big V is not worthy in my book. Now, he held it down last year. I believe last year he was just riding the wave. Big V was riding the wave last year. You know, we were hot. He got the confidence from everybody. But Michael Kendricks was right in his episode of Hard Knocks when he said, this guy doesn't trust his feet. You can see that he doesn't trust his feet. And I would hate for Big V to be the reason that Carson Wentz gets hurt again. Because he's blocking the most important side of that line, his blind side. And Big V is known for letting the man get by him more than one time a game. That's my only concern. But I'm pretty sure the coaching staff knows that, and they will put help on that side. Because this is our franchise quarterback that's coming back after 9 months to play his first game. And we can't have this third-year lineman who can't seem to get it right to get our franchise quarterback hurt. Back to Zach Ertz. I watched the Colts versus Redskins game, and these guys are getting ate up in the seam. And Carson Wentz is who made Zach Ertz the top 5 tight end that he was, the Pro Bowl tight end that he was last year. It wasn't Nick Foles. It was Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz did that. And he gets on track this Sunday doing that with his franchise quarterback. He gets his quarterback back, and he gets to tear up the seam against this weak secondary of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the defense, look, a lot of people, even me, at times I get out of line, and but it needs to be said. Jalen Mills gets beat all the time. We all know that. We know that's the reason why he plays 10 yards off of the ball, because he needs that head start if the opposing receiver is take the top off the defense guy. Now, you might say, oh, he was playing 10 yards off of Deshaun Jackson, but when you go back to the tape, Malcolm Jenkins was supposed to help up top, but it was an all-out blitz, and That's not going to happen. Jim Schwartz was just trying something, First play of the game, let's go all out blitz, see if we can get to Fitzpatrick, rattle him up, and then start the game like that. Obviously, it did not happen like that. Now, they corrected it. Obviously, we could have laid down. The score could have been worse than it was, but we fought back. O.J. Howard, another 75 yards touchdown, a lot of bad angles and missed tackles. We all seen how that went, but we kept ourselves in the game. The defense fought. The offense couldn't get in the rhythm, even when they had those 2 turnovers to build some momentum. It still didn't happen. But all that changes at the link this Sunday. Now, the Colts offense, not impressive. The Colts offense is not impressive. Luck plays right into the Eagles' hands. He plays into the Eagles' hands because I was watching the game, and he's holding the ball longer than he has to. Way longer than he needs. Now, Redskins pass rush is not the Eagles pass rush. We're definitely going to get back there. We're going to get back there. Now, it's been a lot of talk about Michael Bennett being unhappy with his role on the defensive line rotation. He wants more snaps. He wants to be out there more. And he rightfully deserves more time out there. He's a Pro Bowl, and he brings something to the table. And that's what we need out there. So I don't know how Jim Schwartz is going to do it, but at the same time, Bennett has to understand, as the way the game was going, the defense was out there, but we were playing from behind, and I guess he wanted the young guys out there more than the older guys. But Michael Bennett brings something to the table, so I can almost guarantee that Schwartz is going to figure something out. I do not want Bennett to become a distraction in the locker room and knock the team off his course. What we are trying to accomplish, and that's win another Super Bowl. But back to Andrew Luck, he is going to be disrupted. He's going to get. Oh, I'm getting off track right now. Andrew Luck is playing like the Andrew Luck that left the game before the injury. He's throwing into traffic. He's throwing into a lot of traffic. So what I was trying to say is he plays into our hands because he holds on to the ball too long. He's either going to get sacked or throw into traffic. And he might throw 2-3 pick sixes in this game. I mean, I'm reaching right now, but that's the game he plays. That is the game he plays. Now, on the defensive side, the Indianapolis Colts defense, the only thing that stuck out to me was through 2 weeks, they are the number 1 rushing defense. Through 2 weeks, the Indianapolis Colts have the number 1 rushing defense, allowing only 58.5 yards a game. I mean, that's saying something. I don't care. I know it's only 2 games, but that's saying something because they went against AP, who's definitely aging, but they have more than one back. They got Thompson, Thompson or Thomas? I think it's Thompson. And their first game was against what was their first game against? Can't remember if they played a good back. I know they lost that game. I can't remember who they played the first week. But 58.5 yards a game says a lot. Now, their passing defense is 28th, which plays into our hands with the return of Carson Wentz. He plays right into our hands. And honestly, that's the keys to victory right there. Carson Wentz tearing up this bad secondary. We have to break them. We have to break that run defense. We're gonna have to get Josh Adams, the stud, this rookie undrafted stud, involved early in the game. We can't play from behind like we did with the Atlanta game and the Buccaneers game. We can't chase these guys. That's not the way we play. We can't keep chasing every single game because, as you can see, it did not turn out in our favor on Sunday against the Bucs. We have to. If we're going to defer, we can't allow them to drive downfield because that's what happened the first 2 games. We won the coin toss. We deferred. Atlanta, they drove down. Although we stopped them in the red zone, they still drove down. They had the momentum. They know they can get down the field real quick. They have to stop that. Same thing, Tampa Bay. They deferred. They gave them the ball. They gave up a long ball. Touchdown, 75 yards. This game, if we defer again, or maybe switch up the pitch, receive it. I mean, I understand the reason why they want the ball at half. But we need a 3 and out. Or we need to force these guys to punt. We take over and get down the end of the field and score. Touchdown. No field goal. We need to get on the board. And we need to get on the board big. Have the other team play from behind. Rattle them. The defense gets involved more. We're hungry. We stop them. The momentum's on our side. The crowd is on our side. We got them playing, changing up their game plan on the sideline. The Eagles' defense won't change because we won so many games with the same personnel. With Mills on the outside. Yes, Mills get beat on the double move almost every single time. We know that. But we're relying on our offense to put points on the board. We're relying on our offense to put points on the board. So we force the other team to continuously pass. They can't run the ball. That's why we had the number one rushing defense, because no one can run the ball. Second half, we're already up. They can't keep running. They're gonna run out the clock. They have to throw themselves into the game. They have to. They got to throw themselves into the game because they're down 2-3 possessions. Then they got to get back into the game. And running is not going to do that. Because we have the best. The Philadelphia Eagles have the best defensive line in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles have the best defensive line in the NFL. A lot of people are saying, oh, the Chicago Bears, they're up there. They done knocked us down. They done said Jacksonville Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings. If they had the best defensive line last year, all these teams, how come they didn't go to the Super Bowl? None of these teams went to the Super Bowl. I don't care who went to the conference championship. None of these teams with the best defensive line went to the Super Bowl. The best defensive line went to the Super Bowl. And that's the Philadelphia Eagles. So y'all might as well put that to rest until proven otherwise. The season will have to end for y'all to take that crown. So through this whole season, fall back on who has the best defensive line. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody else comes second. The disrespect got to stop. I mean, ESPN been giving us our respect, but at the same time, they're not. They're throwing all these teams in front of us when we are the champions. But we're going to regain our crown. We're going to get that right back. We're going to get that right back. We're going to have everybody eating crow. That's saying the Philadelphia Eagles do not have the best defensive line in the NFL. And with Jason Peters in the mix, we have the best offensive line. It's non-debatable. We have the best offensive line. You see the way they perform week in and week out. I'm getting off track, getting into my feelings about this offensive line and defensive line. But, yeah, those definitely the keys to victory. Putting the pressure on. We don't even have to put the pressure on Andrew Luck. He's going to hold the ball, and he's going to throw in the traffic, even when there is no pressure. But he's going to hold the ball. Because we have the best defensive line, we'll get to him. He'll throw the ball in traffic. He'll hold on to the ball or fumble it. The defense can't stop the pass. And with that, they'll start playing back because I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz will tear them up in the air. They will play off, and then we'll start to get the running game in the mix. And we'll take over the game. And that's how the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win. Oh, don't let me – I forgot. If Darren Sproles plays, expect a punt return. If Darren Sproles plays this Sunday, expect a punt return. Last year, we had no punt return at all. We had some big runs, but we had no special team touchdown from the punt side. And if I'm not mistaken, we didn't get a kick. We didn't get a kick return neither. We did not get a kick return last year at all. Especially Darren Sproles is out the mix. Darren Sproles is out the mix for since week 3 against the New York Giants, and we went the rest of the season, 14 weeks without a punt return. If Darren Sproles plays, mark my words, we will get a punt return from that guy, especially in that game with the crowd on their feet, probably from beginning to end. And Carson Wentz, Jordan Matthews, and the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles are going to ride that wave of the crowd. They're going to ride that wave. And that's the key. That's the keys to victory. And that's the preview I got. Thank you for joining me on the Eagles Raw Report. It's your boy Ill Will, and I'll see you next time.